Zeddy brings us another video to eat. Alright, another juicy meatball. Because, Blizzard buffing cards is interesting, to say the least. But then, it turns out it was a mistake all along to do so. But they wanted so badly, like, to have that bit of a power creep in the game, so they puffed the card. And it backfires sometimes. And it's probably the most laughable thing. And, well, Zeddy gets to be featured a lot on this series because he's salty, but he's able to, creatively unleash and express himself of how stupid card design is when it comes to Hearthstone. So this is the whole reason we have series like that. And Zeddy is technically a huge inspiration. Huge inspiration. Right now we have a shitty meta where, top decks are still very high rolly. Plus Reset the Game, plus Divine Shields, plus Evolve. And all of this is just kind of crappy. And, well, you get King crushed in the end. Or Hammer crushed by both classes at this point. Wow. Except Shaman doesn't like running that stupid Horn. I say Hammer because, like, how the fuck is Horn supposed to kill me when I have 16 health, right? A fucking Horn? Really? This is the card design we're dealing with right now? Yeah. So, the first 3 episodes are on my main channel. I have very little ability to actually transfer this data onto the main one. Just, type in Guru next, you'll find it. Not a big deal. Yeah, you can ask me for a handle in the comments if somehow that's difficult. But you can see, here's my name, guys. It's not that difficult to find my main channel. But I will still do a recap, alright? For those people who are just completely lazy, me too. Me too. I need to recap because I need to remember how we changed things, basically. So we picked up Zeddy's other video, other series of, like, the worst 10 cards, and we try to make him better. We actually try to rework, buff those cards, basically. So there's a tough crowd creature that returns a minion. So instead I was like, wait. What did I do? Come on, man. That's why I need a recap, man. I want to see if whatever I just typed in makes any sense. So it returns, right? Basically, I'm just adding this this stuff onto the card. All right. Yeah. Basically, another creature you play that has Outcast or combo is gonna cost 2 less. Somehow I left the Outcast thing going, and the reason I said another is for stupid reasons, because you shouldn't be able to bounce this card back and forth, especially when it goes down to 2 mana. Alright. This is, again, top 10 worst cards that you see here. Since the newest expansion. And the miniset included, basically. I don't actually like the wording. We probably would have to change this a little bit. And because we're running out of space, I'll have to just blue square it a little bit. Next, different Outcast or combo minion. Why would I do that, though? Why would I discount something that it has nothing to do with this? Does it? It's weird. But it kind of does, because you can return an outcast or a combo card to your hand, and it will also be in that same pool of being mana reduced. This is basically 0 mana. I don't know if it works. Honestly, I'm kind of cringing at my own stuff. But yeah, it's kind of like Shadow Step for also Outcast, but specifically for Outcast and combo minions. Which is so weird. I mean, it has to have a little bit of a rogue thing, and returning a minion is a rogue thing. I don't know, this is kind of weird. Still. The interesting thing, that everything that goes to your hand is gonna be, you know, an Outcast card. Actually, we might be able to go to the future and pick up another keyword. So, HS Judgment. We can go into the future. There's a special thing which prevents us to go below 1. And that actually saves the day, so there's no infinite loop with Tough Crowd, but there's a little bit of a loop, you know. So we discount by 2, but down to 1. Alright? Normally, Hearthstone's wording is like this, but not less than 1. We have to squeeze it a little bit. I have noticed that I can't really create a keyword out of this. We just have to say down to 1, basically. And also with these brackets, it seems like. It could be without brackets, to be honest. It would be completely fine. I mean, because we're running this series and we're not supposed to have any insecurities, I'll just remove the fucking brackets. Fuck it. Down to 1. The reason why brackets are kind of useful is because normally you can have just this, right? This is just kind of like appendage. But it's fine. It's just completely... You can have brackets, but you don't have to. Let's go back in time. I'm basically judging my own judgment. This is ridiculous. We might be stuck here without actually being able to react to this stuff. Because this stuff is toxic cancer, bro. Maybe I just teased you guys for episode 5. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, guys. But yeah, the moment mana cheating goes wrong is when things cost 0 mana. It's just absolutely unacceptable stuff. Next. Outcast or combo. Minion cost less, down to 1. Now, we might be able to go back, but squeeze it over here. I could just say combo minion. But it's still pretty cute to do the Outcast. I could just leave it at 3 mana. Honestly. But it already has like this Outcast condition. That makes no sense. I could remove the Outcast condition, so it actually doesn't get discounted. Which is super simple, I would say. But no, I think it's fine. We don't have to overthink. Next. The Speaker Stomper, the tradable thing. I was like, well, you can also add Rush, because why not? And often enough, Speaker Stomper is not good enough. There was a... What the hell? This is a twist, and it's so fucking stupid. Now there's 3 modes to choose from, and it's like, what? And now there's 3 modes to build decks with the same amount of slots. Like, at least create those stupid 3 buttons and leave us with... You can take 7 slots away from me. I'll be fine. I'll survive. Even though I only use one non-standard slot. And these are just old decks. But Jesus Christ, man. Hearthstone is full of stupid decisions like that. Oh, let's make a new game mode. Because we're removing casual game mode or a classic, it's still okay to have a whole nother thing going on. But it's a different color, so you will be able to know what's going on. And what are we talking about? If I'm doing one thing, I'm doing one thing. I'm not doing everything at once. Let me switch somewhere here. You know, between those stupid modes instead of here. But whatever. That's just me, man. That's just me. But everything is like mixed together. It's like, what? I don't need that. I don't want to look at that. I will click on the wrong button and I will feel like, oh, look at that. Rearranging. So I don't mix things up. I never knew this feature existed, bro. Holy Jesus. Anyways. Speaker Stomper. Get out of here. Basically, the next turn, you're trying to block your opponent from doing nasty things next turn. But you would rather, you know, guarantee the effect. Sometimes you're just not going to get anything out of this card. And sometimes you just want to play it as a 4-drop. You know, it doesn't matter if it's tradable or not. You might be in a little bit of a rush. And again, it's one of the worst cards. Top 10 worst cards. So, I think it makes sense to make things cost 2 more. The next spell, basically. So it just guarantees that your opponent has to goddamn use that 2 mana. Because you just played a shitty card. Alright. Now, yeah, I mean, you're blocking an entire turn. Technically, they can't just offload a bunch of spells at you. And in this case, if they just play 1 spell, they can offload. But in a high-stakes situation, now you're just forcing the opponent to focus on minions and not spells. And honestly, just forcing that is very satisfying to me personally. You just have to force them to spend more mana. Like, if there's mana cheating, there should be mana fucking punishments as well. And we don't really have that. We had it with the hero power, and that was ridiculously effective. The moment my hero power was costing 2 more, or 3 more or something, it's a wild card. I'm not gonna bring that up just yet. But it locks down your hero power successfully. You don't want to waste a turn using a overcosted hero power. So the same goes with spells. Now you have to play around until you have the opening window to spend that 2 mana. I think it's very reasonable. It's just 2 mana after all. And it's just for spells, which spells are reactionary. But it could turn from a bad card into a really good card, and honestly, buffs can go wrong. I'm not gonna lie. So this is kind of a scary card now. Looking back, there's a remixed musician, basically. So we're just gonna recap 1 episode and that's it. But it has this extra effect, and it's like, it makes no sense, right? How about bring back one of the coolest things, which is adapt, discover something, right? It doesn't have to be specifically discover a dinosaur little thing, evolution. It could be just a simple keyword, because it seems like you get rush and a certain keyword, so might as well fucking adapt. Might as well get the choices instead of keeping something in your hand as if that's a choice. No, you're going to be forced to play a 3-drop no matter how it looks like. So it creates a random 3-drop in your hand, while in this case, you get to adapt. So much better. I think this is very reasonable Not only you get to pick, discover a card from your opponent, very powerful stuff, but you're also gonna be blocking your opponent from getting a good card potentially. Or, well, it depends, right? If you take a good card for yourself, your opponent very likely is gonna get a good card themselves. So there's a lot of strategy behind this. We just dredge to the top. For them, you know what they're gonna get. Just like this thing does. Takes a top card. Dredging puts a card on top. Right? So we basically just adding in a very twisted way, way more spice. Again, more choices means a much more satisfying experience instead of just random, you know. Oh wow, random. Oh, I'm so stoked about this random pirate giving me a card. At least it's better than that one drop that gives a completely random card. Completely. And somehow it's still being played. I don't know, man. Weird. But one drops always get played. No exceptions, to be honest. Lord of the Opera GX. So we have this nonsense creature that I'm like, okay, go to 8 mana, but it can like grow in stats. But yeah, I mean it loses stats based on the amount of cards you have. Right? Right now, it just loses cost. But it's like, just make the goddamn card playable. Stop with this mana cheating nonsense. You know, like, stop it. Another giant. This is the giant that we needed so badly. Because our deck is empty now. When is it playable? You know, when is this playable? Almost never. By the time it's playable, it's not playable. You know, it's just gonna be removed. It's the funny thing about removals, boys. Why printing big cards is not relevant whatsoever. Unless, you know, you can at least play it on turn 8, maybe. Whenever you feel like. You know, when it just makes more sense. Like, you can play it, guys. You can play this card, and it does depend on how many cards you have in your deck, on how powerful this is. This can crush your opponent, technically. If you have no cards, it's a 30-30. That's pretty cool to look at. Obviously, you waste an entire turn playing the card, but you might be able to shenanigan with it. I don't know. It doesn't have any tags, though. Whatever. I'm not saying I fixed the card. I'm just saying the way it works is kind of fun. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. Yes, you will probably be able to summon a 15/15 for 8 mana. But this is actually like normal. And I don't know. Kind of normal. This still pisses me off, to be honest. Fiddlefire. Can we do something even better? I think I have a much more satisfying conclusion to this. Alright. Still has Taunt Lifesteal. Instead of this, instead of just being weird 8 mana card, that, well, it could still shut down the game. I'm not saying it's that bad. I have thought of something better, though. Alright. Get a copy of this card. And burn half of your deck. So if you don't have a deck, then you're not losing that many cards. But if you have a very juicy deck, this is just gonna, you know, be a be very expensive card, I would say. Alright, and that's kind of the whole point. And you don't really get to choose. But, yeah, I mean, we're not playing Druid here. You don't get to choose, okay? You get a copy of this card, though. So you can keep replaying it, and you... Basically, you're trying to shut down the game with this card. But you're also destroying your deck entirely. So the game sort of changes from a normal game into a fatigue matchup really quickly. Right? Now your opponent has to deal with Opera GX over and over again. And please install this, because goddammit, maybe it's gonna save us from the adpocalypse. The next level adpocalypse from YouTube. Holy shit, whether they enforce us to disable ad blocker and bullshit like that. Fatal Fire Imp. So, I have decided to add spell damage. And get to any fire spells. It could have, like, fire damage spells or some bullshit like that. And I have decided that get is gonna be a definition of just add cards to your hand, because, god damn it, add to your hand is like, what the... Not only this is a split thing that always occurs. Like, look at how many cards there are. Adds... wait. Okay. To your hand has add. Look at how many cards. This is how you get cards, basically. Add things to your hand. I'm just saying get. You get a card. How complicated is that? Alright. This is just standard cards, by the way. And it can have, like, spell damage. So it can immediately, like, be useful in a way. You get 2 cards, 2 fire spells. It's now decent. Why it has to be so specific where it gives you... By the way, fire spells... What are Warlock's fire spells? You get Hellfire, Immolate sucks, this sucks. You don't even need most of this. Maybe Hellfire is fine. And then you have a bunch of this stuff. Now, if I randomize it entirely, I'm not saying I'm improving anything. I'm just saying it's just too much text, to be honest. Too much weird type of text as well. Was it buffed? I remember this being 3-2. Am I tripping? I think it was buffed. Most fire spells are damage oriented. I could push it to always have like damage effect. And there's definitely those sort of cards. All right, and even if you just fire has damage, you get all the damage things. Honestly, I'm kind of into it. Well, actually, you get too much. You get this damage thing. This thing doesn't fit. I guess damage 2? No, that doesn't work either. Basically, you have to have a number and then damage. And that would be the damage fire spell. To damage. Whatever. Seems fair to me. We just turn Battlecry into BC. You'll understand. And now I will update what damage fire spells also mean. The same exact way. God damn it. That's a little bit annoying. I always want, even when I look through this view, I want it to not spill over. I guess any people will understand that I'm removing the class part. Also, there was a gap. Alright, so you get the idea. Damage is also a definition where you have to have X damage is on the card. On the spell. There you go. It could be even like a minion, right? Damage. Let's see how that would work. Let's see who does 2 damage as a minion. 2 damage. There's this. I mean, there are damage minions. So we don't have to restrict that to spells. On the card. Wow, that's interesting. I changed Funnel Cake. Maybe it's a fine card, but somehow it appeared in the video. Again, not this video. He made a different one that I reacted to. Basically, I'm redoing my first... What? Is that what I'm doing? This was a long time ago, by the way. Top 10 absolute worst. This is 2 weeks ago, but it's already buried by this many videos. God damn it, bro. Well, I kind of released the same amount of videos, to be honest. Not exclusive to Hearthstone, though. Yeah. The worst. This is the stuff that I'm reacting to. Re-reacting at this point. I kind of made a very complicated move with the Funnel Cake. You get a mana crystal after 3 overheals. Basically, just whenever you're gonna collect 3 overheals, then you get that empty mana crystal. You could get it instantly. You can get it later. Maybe after you eat the Funnel Cake, so to speak. I guess it's fine. I don't know if there's a better way to handle this. Even though the card is just like fine by itself, it's just you. I don't know. Now they're trying to avoid, you know, giving you mana, which is kind of actually dumb. I would even go as far as like, fuck it, have your mana. You know, you're overhealing creatures, you're summoning creatures, and just giving mana is not supposed to be a PTSD moment where that's the mana cheating that we're scared of. Giving people mana for having cards in their hand. I'll just gonna give my comment basically. Alright. Or just stop being scared of giving mana. But, you know, that opens a new can of worms of like, oh, but if I give that person extra mana, they will summon a 6-drop that breaks the game. And it's like, why does that 6-drop break the game then, is the question, not the fucking extra mana. I'm sorry. You know, again, you still need... extra mana. Yeah. I want mana crystals personally. Fuck it. But in late game, it's kind of useless. So I don't know. You tell me. I think it's completely fine to just treat it as that innervate thing. In fact, innervate should just... Wait. Innervate should be reverted. Out of all things that should be reverted, it's got him innervate. But obviously coins are really goddamn powerful, right? As cards. But now Mage gets 2 coins out of the dispenser. I want coins too, man. We had coins. We had a neutral card that generates coins. And guess what? It's a broken card, obviously. It was played. No, like, coins are fine. It's actually very interesting to play with stuff like this. It was abusive to the game, and potentially there's a better solution to this. Because at early game is very tough to actually break through this sort of mana boosted nonsense. So how do you make sense of this, right? Is giving a mana crystal actually make sense? What if you get it next turn? What if you get extra mana next turn? Does that solve the problem? No, it's weird. I want to explore why is this, extra mana thing so deadly, basically. I only remember, Zeddy coming out on turn 2 and being quite oppressive, but this is classic we're talking about. And honestly, what was way more abusive is the extra mana crystals, which is exactly what I did. Sort of, shoving a middle finger against Hearthstone developers, showing that, oh, but you probably would give us empty mana crystals, right? With this 1 mana card that also heals creatures. Which, now that I think of it, this is stupid. This is just satire. Alright? Whatever I just did is just, purple hearts. God damn it. Glitched out. Please don't do this to me. Okay. This should work now. Unless it reset everything. Oh my god, stupid Discord. Please stop. Okay, I have to do this stuff. Are you? What the hell is going on, man? I swear. I've been dealing with this glitch for forever now. And I still haven't trained myself to not bump into it. Yeah. This is definitely satire. I have no idea why give empty mana crystals so easily. Technically, like, you have to have 3 minions. But then you still get an empty mana crystal. Which is completely fine. Now that this card is so weak, right? No, it's definitely a mystery. It's a whole fucking mystery of, like, why is this extra mana thing so bad? It makes no sense. But every single Inner Weight is still playable card. And it's all because these big cards are so disgustingly powerful. I have changed that air completely. So, destroy your undead. Resummon them. I don't care. Alright? Why is it so specific? Why is it so stupid? Why does it require 2 runes that are different? None of this makes sense to me, to be honest. So I changed it into a passive ability. And this is what passive stands for. For the rest of the game, this is probably the coolest thing you can have in Hearthstone. Unless, you're too scared of the rest of the game. Because if there any power creep that should have happened, is just the existence of passive abilities. And 3 passive abilities would be nice, where you can also see the passive abilities that are active for you personally. 3 for each player. And it's really powerful way to just accelerate the game into a victory. Instead of printing all these power creep cards which counter each other all of a sudden, and the game just never ends. Because you have lifesteal creatures and Borklers. Wow, so interesting. If we have power creep, at least don't make it easy to counter with another power crap bullshit card. I mean, it's a card game, so we have to play a slot machine who can play a power creep card without getting countered. It's a slot machine game. And it's just, I don't understand. So passive abilities would just fix the game. Literally fix the game. Most of the sins that I've collected for Hearthstone, I mean, Bro, just this. Just this. Why? Because dragon. Dragon, boys. And when I say dragon, I say this. Alright? This thing just keeps me sane. I am able to play druid because of this fucking card. My god. Alright? The passive abilities are crazy powerful. So in this case, you just get extra corpses for undead. If you want to play a bunch of undead, I guess that's how you do it. If you're being too specific, then at least you shouldn't be punished for not having undead in your hands. Or a fully undead deck or something. Fuck it, like, okay, you get extra corpses because undead's, like, easy to turn into corpses, I guess. I don't know. Or just extra useful. And you just, again, pay 2 mana for this effect. It's not a big deal. And you're able to use corpses now. Which should be a pretty useful, you know, material. This is how I call it. Materials, basically. Anyways, popular pixie. What's that? It's this bad boy. Why is it so bad? Well, how do I change it, right? Choose 1 minion. When it attacks, it activates your hero power. The reason why I changed from here to this, even though it's supposed to be a playable card, you know, it's doing exactly the same as a neutral 1-drop. Wow. How crazy is that? Because you always want to mana cheat. Refreshing a hero power is pretty useful. And a hero power deck would play this card. But right now, hero powers are not going to win you the game, unfortunately. It's very difficult to squeeze value out of a hero power. But what is better is to get a cheap hero power that you can also refresh if you just let the minions survive. The only thing you need is a goddamn minion on the board. Alright, so not only you incentivize a little bit more tempo plays, but you also incentivize to keep that minion alive, which is my most favorite part as well. The next favorite part is just like, if you create stupid effects, at least attach it to a minion, and not like a spell or some bullshit like that. It's something that I can kill. Like a location, you know, like, give me a stupid effect, but it's a location, so I can't even interact with it. You just get that effect whenever you want. And locations have been nerfed plenty of times now. I mean, those things are broken. Mage location, rogue location got nerfed. And immediately, Death Knight location. This is some bullshit, right? When it comes to nerfs, this is probably one of the most nerfed things ever. Or touched things even, like Relic Vault was buffed. Okay, Mage got nerfed. Almost, I mean, this was almost nerfed, and I'm surprised that it wasn't. This imp bullshit. Like, why is this location so stupid, right? Why is this so specific about imps? Excuse me? The best you can do is, like, draw some imps or whatever. Draw an imp, give it a +1/+1. That would just be a normal thing, like, even, like, for 1 mana if it's too weak. Just fucking draw some imps, so it's consistent if you want imps. But you get some crazy-ass tempo with this and crush your opponent, and it was just so ridiculously toxic, and surprisingly was not nerfed. But most locations are nerfable. I guess we're just talking about 2 here. Oh, I don't even have all of them. What am I... So again, yeah, at the moment it was nerfed, I immediately disenchanted. This was buffed. But game relying on locations is kind of weird. Especially, locations are really powerful. This one needs to be buffed, right? I think I... Okay, I don't have it on the list. I should have it. I should look into locations at some point. It's kind of interesting stuff. But classes that have 2 locations, luckily, Death Knight can't actually use both of them. This seems to be a pretty crappy one. But, are we sure about that, you know? Are we sure that Mosh Pit is just garbage? Pretty much, because, like, it doesn't have any tempo effect. However, if, this was a neutral location, like, people would still play it. It's just that you also have to spend corpses at the same time. It's like giving something reborn is already just like 1 mana thing. And locations are supposed to, like, this makes no sense to me. Whatever we're looking at here, this absolutely makes no sense. And what Blizzard is thinking of, like, oh my god, but there's so many crazy combos, and it's like, what are you talking? You create power crept cards that eventually turn into crazy combos anyways. This doesn't look like a power crept card to me. This looks like a shitty card that was stitched together with a shitty card, and you put an extra shittiness on the shitty effect. You know, like, what? Excuse me, dude. If you want Reborn, here's how you get it. Alright? You want Reborn? Here's how people get Reborn. With this fucking card. This card doesn't really have a big requirement. Just play Undead. Alright? And now it's a deck. Because of this card, this card is abusive card. And how did that location was not abusive? Even though it gives Reborn to a creature of your choice even. Oh my god, because it fucking cost mana. It just cost... This doesn't. This is just for free. You just dump it and everything gets reborn. Wow. That you play. It still has a lot of requirements, but it's still more play than this stupid card. And I think that's a horrible failure that just happened. Like, this is supposed to be flexible, pretty useful, and yet it's not played. Like, I'm surprised, man. I was like, come on, this has to be played, right? But then you think for a second, and then, no, it's not gonna work. Why does it have an M? Dominion? I mean, minions could have their own little, token. Everything could be, keyworded, basically, but whatever. Rhythm Dancer now. So you get the idea with the popular pixie, you get the idea with locations. Locations are, like, crucial to the game. I'm not saying they should be destructible. I'm just saying the way you destroy locations is also ridiculously stupid. Like, it would be nice if you can actually destroy a location by, you know, attacking it with a 3 or more attack creature or something. Especially creature. Alright? A minion. So again, you're forced to play a minion, and that's the only thing that destroys a location. You're also forced to defend locations. That would be fine. 3 or more attack. So that tokens are not supposed to kill the location. I think that would be fine. Because most of the locations can be used immediately after they're being played. And everything should be interactable as well. So I think we're putting that shit in, boys. We're destroying locations. Fuck it. I did a Reddit post back in the day where, like, we should also be able to destroy weapons. Where if you attack a hero, the hero has to defend himself with a weapon. And that's just the way to destroy weapons. Because we had so much weapon removal printed, and it's like, what are you trying to do, Blizzard? Oh, wait, we can't interact with weapons. That's how it works. You know. Technically, the only thing that can interact is a taunt. But in this case, with locations, we can't interact at all. We cannot insert our dominance. Or the stupid location thing. The only thing locations do is, like, take a slot. A minion slot. And it's like, well, you're not gonna play minions anyways, so I guess you get all the bonuses out of that one. It does get in the way, the minion slot requirement. But it's like I can't really abuse that from my side. I can't interact with that shit at all. So I'm thinking location's gotta fucking go. Get kicked in the balls. Let's go, baby. So this location tag doesn't sound so pathetic anymore. And it sounds like trash. Alright. The thing that was printed, destroy an enemy location. What? Now it's tradable, guys. I'm sure that fixes everything. Wow. This is ridiculous, right? I'll be generous and be like, you can destroy a location with a 5 attack creature. Alright? That's a full dominance. A big boy can destroy a location. You should be able to destroy buildings with that 5 attack creature, you know? So, fuck it. Let's do that. Allow some interaction. If you don't allow interactions, you're stupid. And honestly, this is where a Hearthstone was heading, at like a non-interactive sort of gameplay where people just kill you from hand. Apparently, they heal from hand. They have rush creatures, spells that just wipe the entire board. Spells are not interactive. We're just going into that direction of where it makes no fucking sense anymore. So, making weapons and locations more interactive would be pretty goddamn interesting. I'm not gonna lie. Basically, it's a new sin that we found. 45. Just by looking at a type of a card. Yeah. Here's how we do it. By dealing 5 damage to it in 1 turn. How about that? In 1 turn. It can just heal itself back up. But it makes things a little bit weird. You want to like crush the location so you don't even have to have it health for the location. But technically it will just accumulate damage, and once it accumulates 5 damage, I think it should just die. Lose a durability. Can be destroyed. Loses durability. Just 1 durability for 5 damage. It makes no sense to attack locations most of the time, but sometimes you just need to shut down your opponent's strategy that they're trying to pull off. That's it. Yes, board locking your opponent is a thing, but goddamn, I don't see people playing cards sometimes, and goddamn, I want more of that shit. When I say board locking, I'm saying you took over the board and they just can't take it back anymore. And honestly, that should be the win condition in normal circumstances. If you have a full board of shit, your opponent should have nothing that they can do unless they dump their entire hand to clear it or something. I mean, out of desperation. They should be able to use cards, but they're not supposed to take back the board with 1 card or some bullshit like that. Just because, you know, we need to keep the game going. I mean, you drawn that card that clears the board, so we have to keep the game going, guys. Alright, Rhythm Dancer. Also attacks whatever your hero attacks. Basically a completely reworked... what's the name again? Dancer. We have 3 dancers, by the way. Well, technically. Breakdancer. This is still somehow unplayable, even though it's a kind of decent 4-drop that has a bonus effect. And now I'm not exactly sure why it's unplayable. Still. It was buffed. And I was also slightly reacting to the buffs at some point, maybe at some episode. I remember just reacting to buffs, and maybe, yeah, the next episode. It could be 3rd one. But yeah, I've seen Disco Mall, so it has to be this episode, the 2nd one. We barely just recapped the 1st episode. This is kind of funny. There's so many sins I can't even recap everything all at once. Yeah, but that's the whole point of like speed running your own stuff. It has to be like so coherent that you just read it as a book, and delivers a very easy experience. So in this case, I think it's very straightforward. Whatever you attack, it has an immune attack. It's a new keyword, I would say, that I didn't mention. I want to overflow because we're running out of characters. But basically, immune attack. Immune while attacking. Wow. We need that. So we could turn it into like a different sort of keyword, obviously, into like one-word keyword. But most importantly, this is ridiculously cool. Again, it's another way to board lock your opponent. They have to think of something better. Or Blizzard could bring back stealth creatures. Wow! You know, so they can counter the immune attack creatures, which are supposed to be way more powerful. And in this case, not only this thing survives after being played. By the way, it's supposed to be 5 mana. Just so we know. 5 mana. We're not buffing this card. I'm sorry, guys. This stays. And if you have a weapon, well, it has a bonus effect. That's it. We don't need to overcomplicate things where it just keeps returning to your hand for God knows why. It's still a rush creature if it returns to your hand. So it's basically a stupid board clear, you know, that kills itself most of the time. So it's pointless. And you still have to use an attack from a weapon to turn it into a better board clear. In this case, you just have a very good creature on board immediately. And it's a goddamn legendary status for a reason. This immune attack thing is a fucking prime keyword, absolutely. Dark Possession. We might be able to get a bonus meme, guys. What? Oh, what? Isn't it like a 2-mana card? Why can I not find it? It should be like... Oh, it's a... No. Where did it go? What's going on? Yeah, it's a different video, I think. Yeah, we did the top 10. These are old cards. But let's look into that. Technically, we already see it. So, wow, for 1 mana you get to discover a demon. And then we already had a book that does that. So we can buff this card, you know. We have an extra card. And it's like, why? This is also a rare. So if anything needs a buff, like, why print new cards is my question. A simple question. If you want to power creep, but yes, we print new cards because we need to sell them to players and stuff. And is that how it works? Just remove the card from the game, re-release it, call it a buff. If it goes into wild, you can re-release the card back into standard in the buffed version of it. Technically, it feels bad, you know? It feels bad. But you can, like, redesign the card, because we already have this, right? There's something you can do. I'm not exactly sure what the solution is. I'm just saying re-release kind of sounds okay. So Deal 3 damage to a minion. Any minion. If it survives, transform it to a demon of same cost. Isn't that crazy? So basically for 1 mana you can silence a creature, but it's a demon of the same cost. So it's still gonna be pretty juicy if you're trying to silence some big giant thing, you know, for some reason. I think it's really flavorful. Finders Keepers, sure. So, no more overload, and the Discover effect also removes overload from the card. I think this one works perfectly. And then Surrender to Madness. We will have a bonus meme, by the way. Surrender to Madness. Every minion has Overheal and Finale. Basically another passive ability. This one is like stupid. This one is just dumb. Oh, lose your 3 mana crystals to give things in your deck +2/+2. Wow, so useful, I guess. You can't play it on turn 3, so that's out of the window. But if you have passive abilities for 3 mana, now you're creating a very mad passive ability. Alright, and if we have 3 maximum passive abilities, this one is kind of still weird. You have to finale every single card to be able to gain a +1/+1 on that card. Or you have to overheal a card. And why it's so mad to have this effect? Because all of a sudden, you have to think about overhealing, you have to think about finale every single turn just to squeeze out a little bit of a bonus. It's just madness to put so much pressure, so much strategy on top of the game that you're already playing. And you're always going to have PTSD of like, do I have this passive ability, do I not? Have I activated? Can I start overhealing cards and whatnot? You have to always remember that it's madness, I would say. But I love it. That's how it's supposed to be done, right? And honestly, I'm not gonna do the bonus meme. Somehow we did it in the most spectacular fashion. Part 2, Part 1, and Part 4. Here you go, guys. Did you like that one? We just redone the same thing. I'm just like, yeah, the funnel cake created a mystery, which is very, very scary to me. Fuck, I just deleted the thing and I didn't even pasted it back. 1 second, guys. We do have a bonus meme, actually. Okay, we have front lines. Even 2 ways. I even invented 2 ways of doing this stuff. Which is just simply recruiting every 3 cost minion. Or all you summon 3 minions for yourself, I believe. Not your opponent. Or no, I think for your opponent as well. It's just like consistently 3 minions, cause like whatever. Sometimes when the board is full, it will stop summoning minions. What is that? Simplify. What the fuck is that? Summon a minion for each player. Repeat until the battlefield is full, and it's 9 mana. And it's like, what? I don't need that shit. For 9 mana? It was a pretty interesting meme, but we're not supposed to print out memes. That we force players to figure out how to make them work. I can't even squeeze this here because we just ran out of space here as well. Alright. Hopefully I don't forget to paste it this time, because that would be ridiculous. By the way, this is how Brawl is supposed to look like. Your minion's supposed to attack enemy minions, and that's it. Or technically minions should just attack each other. In a way. Something like that. Brawl should have been more consistent. Priest basically sucked in a crazy amount of Borklers, and one of them kind of makes a creature mad. The other one makes everyone attack each other. And that should have been Brawl, but why Priest has it? What is that about? Why Priest has the most amount of Borklers above every other class? Like, holy Jesus Christ, man. Just thinking about the variety of Priest Borklers is like, whenever Blizzard has a brain fart in a form of a Borkler, Priest, they just dump it onto Priest because it's a control class, of course. Very interesting. This thing could be easily a keyword. Your minions attacking could be a key. I would like that. Even though it makes no sense, right? It could be a keyword where your minion just attacks an enemy minion, right? A random enemy minion. Definitely could be a keyword. And you can trigger it in different ways. It's not one of those keywords where it's just a passive keyword, but it's kind of like Rush, you know. It just attacks a minion. In fact, there's a lot of stuff like that. Isn't it? Attack random enemy minion? Attack random enemy. What? What about this hunter thing? What does it do after it stops being dormant? Attack a random enemy. Wow. Attack a random enemy. So you have this right thing, this thing. It could be really cool stuff. I guess we found a new keyword. Wow. Wow. Holy I didn't... Wow. That is a thing, bro. That could be definitely a keyword. And you can easily, you know, improve your stupid Brawl that way. How does Brawl word it at? Brawl. Destroy all minions except one. Chose. This looks ugly, bro. Fuck this shit. And it plays out very ugly, because, you know, it doesn't have that cinematic feeling of, like, minions attacking into each other. Minions actually fighting in the Brawl. It's like, whatever. So the only question is, like, the only question we have left over is, like, what do we do with these old cards that's supposed to be reworked and reintroduced to the game? That actually happened, by the way. Like, you have some reworks on... You have just some buffs overall in general for classic cards. Classic packs, basically. Or the entire classic thing, classic set, right? Is actually always under the radar of, can we actually change those cards? Can we actually improve something here? And why is it not everything supposed to be under the radar? And the Brawl was never reworked. So here it is. The bonus meme, the opportunity to rework Brawl, because we're creating a new keyword. How are we gonna call it? Berzerk could be nice. I like Berzerk. But then you have to say go Berzerk. That means it will attack a minion. But then Berzerk means that almost like, why would it stop, right? Why would it stop attacking minions, is the question. Technically, Brawl should make something Berzerk until only one creature survives, which is so crazy, bro. That is so crazy. Which is still a unique Borkler, I would say. Wow, this is so cool. Basically, this is a very weird keyword. Whereas, temporary keyword. So after, you know, I guess that's a new thing as well. Wow. You should be able to go full Berzerk. Go full Berzerk, man. That is so cool. Where it just kills itself eventually. Basically, this thing goes full Berzerk, right? This 8 thing. Attack a random. That we know very well. The Mishmash Mosher. He goes full Berzerk, man. Oh my god. After each attack, gain +1 attack. That's so cool. Wow. Actually, we have a temporary keyword already in the game. It's called Spell Burst. Wow. That is crazy. Wow. So this would be an instant use. The moment you get this keyword, you instantly use it to attack an enemy minion. So they gain Berzerk, basically. Alright, let's give Berzerk to Brawl and leave. And the Mishmash Mosher, obviously. I want to say it like that. Only one prevails. Who's the top dog, man? Survival. And, yeah. I could even see a Brawl giving +5/+5. And if I see something, we gotta fucking give it +5/+5. You the winner, you get a fucking belt. There you go, congratulations for winning the Brawl. Fuck yeah, let's go. Go full Berzerk. But it's kind of weird. After you play it, it goes full Berzerk and loses the effect, so it kind of... I mean, you could have this. After each attack, it still has Rush, hypothetically. I don't know. I think it's a little bit more complicated than what we started with. Wait, what? What do you mean? Oh, what? What is that? Remove it! It's illegal! Why are you doing this to me? After this attack... it's just weird, right? You don't actually see that it keeps attacking forever. Even though it's a very tricky loop to read. I think going full Berzerk, at least it's just, again, much more interesting to read. And it's a very interesting effect. It's just Berzerk, man. I love that. Why is What? Fuck your shit. Fuck that shit, bro. It's a Z, man. We got a Z. There's no way we're gonna S. In fact, I'm so angry. Pizza is now Z. It was Z this whole time. That's why it's such a good food. It has a Z in it. Jesus Christ. Forget about pineapple on pizza. Z! Oh my god. Okay, that's the bonus meme. Attack? Go full Berzerk. Gain 1 attack after each attack. There you go. Attack, attack, attack. Just like Mishmash Mosher. I think it's appropriate. Thank you guys for watching. Please give me more watch time, okay? I have more videos. Bye. I don't edit videos though, so I guess I don't deserve views. Bye.